Just about every single day, someone comes to the channel and asks, what is your fascination with Antarctica? What is it that you think is there that is so important that you focus on it so much? Well, truthfully, it's the last place in the real world that is a true frontier. Antarctica is larger than the whole of Europe and virtually undiscovered. And of course, the pushback is, well, you know you can never go there and it's completely frozen over. The chances of you discovering something in your lifetime, or any of us truly, is almost zero. Why focus on it? Well, there's a more important aspect to it than that. I've always been a big believer that the creative part of the mind, the part of the mind that you can access best when you're asleep, is critical to our well-being. And with the prevalence of the internet, virtually every other spot on the globe is mapped down to the square foot. It gives you an opportunity to be creative, to think outside the box, to have a sense of wonder, which is rare as an adult. Now, strangely enough, regarding this, over at Twitch in the evenings, we've been playing this newer game. It's called Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, I know a lot of my audience is older and they're not into the whole gaming thing. But I was playing this game, and I've only been playing it for about 2 or 3 days, and something occurred to me about the story. And I'd like to share that with you because it has a real-world analog to it that I don't think the creators meant to show. The game starts in this place called Kefalonia Island. It's this little tiny hovel out in Greece. And where the character begins is right here. I don't know if you can see where I'm circling here. This kind of lower left part. Now, when I first started the game, I just went through the story and ran all over the place and did all the little missions. And at the end of the night, I was going to try to, just to give it some closure, bring the character back to where he started, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it, and I'm like, this is crazy. Why can I not find this place? You would think it would be easy. It dawned on me that I was attempting to look for a place that I thought the character should live, and not where he actually did live. Now, you want to see the crazy part of this? Here's the crazy part. Every time we stream over at Twitch, it records there and it holds the videos for up to 2 months. So we can go back and we can look at what we've done. Now, last night I started there just to show my audience there this. This guy, who is supposed to be just a rogue, just some guy living on the edge of existence, has the most sick, unbelievably cool pad in the whole game so far. And I'm just going to play this forward and show you this. He's got his own house. Now, you would have to see the rest of the island to understand this, but it's got his bed, it's got his own desk. He walks out. There's not a neighbor for miles. He's got his own private well. It's a 3-story. It's right on the beach behind him. He's got a little place to store wood. Everywhere else on the island, people are living on top of each other in these little cities where there's barely enough room for anything, and they all have kind of dead-end, mediocre jobs. They either sell carpets, or they sell wares, or they sell vegetables, or, they're very poor. There's a lot of beggars. And this guy, if this was an Airbnb, this would get all sorts of money, even with it looking like it does in the game, which is, 2,000 years old. So it's a really strange dichotomy. The story of the guy and the reality of the guy. It's really, really crazy to see this, that after having played the game, it took me a couple days to have it dawn on me that this guy has, way, way, way more than everyone else on the island. Now, what's the modern day analog to this that I spoke of? And I thought I went through this a little bit faster than what I did, apparently. This is, let's see if I can fast forward just a little bit. You can see his own little private beach out here. And out here just around the corner, he has the little island. He's got all sorts of stuff out back here. But the modern day analog is this. When people are in need, people get together in cities to help support each other. But when things get good and people don't need each other anymore, they move away from each other and cities fall apart. This is what is happening in North America right now. What reminded me of this is this story. A medieval metropolis existed in what's now St. Louis, then mysteriously disappeared in the 14th century. We see this same story all over the world throughout history. We find these remnants of these great cities where people lived together in thousands and thousands, and then inexplicably, they just fall apart. I think it truly is a nature of the human condition. Because in the storyline, let me see if I can find the picture I wanted. You can play as either a female or a male either way with this game. This guy lives an existence where he doesn't really need anybody. He wants to be away from everybody. He's completely self-sufficient. He's a hired gun. He's a hired thug. But everybody else in the story, sorry about that, wrong picture, has to work together, has to live together in the little cities. On that island, there's a city called Sami. And everybody's all closer together, and all of their houses all butt up against one another. Well, in North America, as we have become more wealthy, as we have become more self-sufficient, what have we seen? People move to the suburbs. People move to the country. People get away. And then what's left? In the cities, what do we see? Most of our major cities are starting to fall apart, and people are leaving them in droves. I wonder if in 150, 200 years, 300 years, the reasons for this are all going to be lost. And that's the analog that I was talking about with the game. I think it goes to two different states of mind. And this was the best picture that I could get to try to relate this. When we get to a point in our lives where every day isn't a struggle just to survive, we can begin to explore the right brain. Pardon me. Because we have time for leisure activities. We have time for things like literature and art and philosophy and music. But when it's just daily survival and everything becomes a drudge, simply just to pay the bills, that's where the left brain over here comes in. And people say that you should exist in both. Well, why? I mean, that would be the question. Why? There are people out there who live over here every day that want to live over here all the time. And as you can see here, they show some people starting to try to make the bridge. But then, you have the idea, well, gosh, you can't go fly kites every day. You can't go study the stars all day long. Somebody has to pay the bills, right? Well, when that all gets changed over, and you've gotten to the point where you're, as the Bible describes it, a Laodicean culture, being rich and increased with goods, having want and need of nothing, the whole idea of needing a city falls apart. The whole idea of needing a community falls apart. A community becomes a luxury. It becomes something you don't necessarily need. And once again, I go back to it. In the game, that's how this guy's character actually operates. Most of the game, he's off on his own, doing his own thing and having a good time. But there are times when he's got to go back to the community to either sell goods that he's collected, to get cash, to buy better things, so that he can go back out and be his own person again. This is the crazy part about, when you look at this game and you see what the reality is, versus the reality we're living right now, it's actually crazy to see how our mental state, and I don't think they intended to do this in the game, has transmuted itself into our own entertainment. Because I really think, I honestly do, that everybody who's out in the streets marching right now, this is what they want out here. This guy's life who has this beautiful place out away from nowhere, and they don't want to live in the city that they created. They want the best of both worlds, not realizing that without this world can't exist. Everything else falls apart. So, anyway, that's just what I wanted to share today, that sometimes things come to you in dreams and ideas that you won't get anywhere else. And that's how it kind of ties back to Antarctica. What if this was that place where it got so wealthy, it got so incredible and successful that people started to leave and go explore Africa, go explore South America, go explore Australia. And having no real want or need of anything, they just found new worlds, and then slowly things just changed. And there was no one catastrophic reason. Kind of like what we're seeing now here. And just to see the analog in the game was just something I had to share with you guys, because it was just too apparent. So I guess I'll just let this kind of play out so that you guys can, kind of see what I was talking about. I mean, really, seriously, I know a lot of people right now that would kill to have a place like this. It's not very big. It's not even a one bedroom. It's like there's a living room and a place above and a lookout, and he's got a little veranda, and he's got some covered storage. But I wish I could show the place where or I wish I would have done a better job, I guess I should say, of showing the private beach with the little island and the channel between. Maybe if I fast forward just a little bit. It's kind of hard to do on a 4-hour video because it's the same size scrub line, so you can only go so far. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so here's this place off to the left where he's got his wood all covered up. He's got torches everywhere. The private well is a big deal, especially on an island, which is over here. He's got his own private water well, his own bridge, little creek, and this is where he's leaving, of course. But anyway, join us over at Twitch. I think you guys would really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Tonight we're going to be attempting to take out a fort. We tried for like the last hour last night, and it's one of those games where you can do it, play it however you want to play it. If I wanted to do other things and kind of buff my character up and make him a lot more powerful, we could go into that fort and just kind of mow everybody over. But trying to do it as he stands right now, you've got to be sneaky. You've got to be able to kind of look at the situation and deal with it as it comes. So anyway, I will leave it there. Just wanted to share this with you guys. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.